afternoon. This is Living in the Promised Land, an immigrant rights podcast. I'm your host, Mark Shmueli. And once again, we are reporting from Alligator Alcatraz. We're with Debbie Wahking from the Witness at the Border. Debbie, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
And can you tell us what we're looking at, please?
Yeah, we are looking at the entrance to what they call Alligator Alcatraz. You see a guy with a police all over his shirt walking out. He probably, let's see, you can also see the Florida Highway Patrol car there on the right side of the road. And I don't know if they show up or not, but on the left side of the road, there's a gray SUV that is an unmarked Florida Highway Patrol car or state trooper. And behind them, a marked police state Florida Highway Patrol trooper car. So instead of the usual one or two, we have three tonight. And that could be because we have a lot of people here for the interfaith prayer service.
Yes, and I just wanted to tell folks that this is not as clear as Debbie would like to be. Debbie is a former special ed school principal and teacher, and now she's part of the Episcopal Church. She retired from that job, which was in Dade County, which is Miami, essentially, and its environs. And she is part of the Episcopal chaplaincy at the University of Miami. And we've seen this before, folks. We're doing the best we can, but because Alligator Alcatraz is so close yet so far, the internet access is very poor.
Sure.
We're using Starlink. It's the sound is gonna be choppy.
I'm on a podcast.
So what Debbie is showing us is the road we've seen before. It's as close as they get, and it's about 4 or 5 miles away, right?
I think so. I know it's almost a mile to the checkpoint where they turn around people who decide to drive in.
So just as an update for folks, the last time we spoke, the federal judge in Miami had ordered Alligator Alcatraz to be dismantled, had found that it was environmentally destructive to these very sensitive lands. Remember, there was no running water. It was put in this massive structure into a place that had really nothing before. And the environmental destruction of the Everglades and also the destruction of the sacred lands of the Miccosukee Tribe. And so and that was just Wesley walking by.
Yes, it was.
You didn't see, some people didn't see him on the other screen, but was on a previous episode. And so what happened was the government asked for this court to stay that decision, and this is the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals based in Atlanta, but covering Georgia and Florida. And that court, in a 2-1 decision, stayed the order to dismantle because they felt that the government had a case on appeal, and it would be irreparable harm to the government if they did that. And that was two of the three judges were it was a 2-1 decision, and the two judges that sided with the government were Trump appointed judges. And so the 2 days ago, so the regular case is still going on appeal, and 2 days ago the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals issued a fast track order for the briefing in the case, and the case will be heard in January. So until that time, the government can continue. And so what have you seen? Debbie, you're there as a witness. You watch what's going in. And remember, we talked last time about how this is how the information is being gathered for the lawsuits. This is how people know, because there are no real inspectors inside of Alligator Alcatraz. So what have you seen coming in and out?
So when the order to get it shut down within 60 days was issued, it got very quiet and not much traffic at all compared to what we had been used to. But then when it was lifted a couple weeks later, and now they're allowed to build more and they're allowed to bring in more detainees, we had about 4 days of a steady stream of dump trucks, just truck after truck after truck, coming in with rocks or gravel and going out empty. It was incredible. So Now that's died down, and today's Sunday, so we don't expect to see as much of construction related things, but we continue to see, from time to time, more dump trucks and more other trucks. There's no plumbing back there, so we do see tankers with water coming in, but even those seem to have diminished in number. And then we see smaller trucks that say 4,000 gallons wastewater, and they're taking wastewater away, obviously. And we see the big green trucks with the Sunbelt, the name of a company written on the side, and they are bringing in. Some of them are bringing in. If you look right behind on the right on the right side of your vision, you see the state trooper, and behind it is a green square thing. That's
Yes.
a generator, and on top of it is a set of 4 lights. It's pretty bright at night, and there are tons of them back there. And we see those coming in and going out. I don't know why they'd be going out at this point unless they needed some repair or something. We see that, and sometimes we see big trucks carrying lumber or fencing material. It's very revealing.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, and I just wanted to make this quick point is when, as the lawyer here, when a court has a decision to issue an injunction rather than let the appeal go through, they say, okay, will you the government's appealing, and so what they're saying is that they are so harmed by taking this down that it just can't happen. When the decision was you are endangering people and destroying the Everglades, and it was an 80 some page decision that was look, like I said, it was based on the expert testimony of environmental experts, scientists, and the government had nothing. And also, so this court put the interest of the Department of Homeland Security needing this center that was thrown up out of nowhere, that they call a state center, not even not even their own. They put those interests above the interests of really all of us, because these are this is the Everglades. This is land that is protected federal land, and the Miccosukee Tribe. So they basically said uh environmental
Doing the
rights and
podcast.
the rights to have the Everglades are, and the rights of indigenous people to that area are literally trumped by the rights of Kristi Noem, Rick DeSantis, and Donald Trump. And that is the real sick part of it from a legal standpoint. And, and to me, like a highly suspect and very unethical
Right.
decision as a so it's going to the the 11th circuit overall, but that's just to put that out there. And I think one of the reasons that people aren't paying that much attention is because they figured, you see this amazing decision, you figure it's over. It was so That decision was so one-sided and so thorough, and to then give a bone to the side that has been seen as destroying the environment of a federally protected lands and the indigenous rights of folks that were long negotiated through the U.S. government and codified into law is really nothing short of sick. Um,
And it caused a lot of sadness out here. We
yeah,
couldn't believe it.
I can imagine, and it's good that it was sped up, and it's amazing, so yeah, that's the part that we're fighting. That's the part that and so I saw a huge bus pull up, and you were like, "Oh my God, they're detainees." And then it's like, "No, they're actually coming to your service." So talk about this interfaith, the Friday and
Okay.
Sunday at 5 o'clock. Tell me about it. Tell us about it.
I think it was several weeks ago, maybe in August. Betty Osceola, a member of the Miccosukee Tribe of Indians, she's been a witness herself. I don't know if she would use that language, but she's spent a lot of time out here. And she described herself as coming out to pray because she felt that the area needed prayer, because you get kind of a bad vibe just from being across the street from it. And so she organized a multi-faith prayer vigil. She invited we had ministers, we had rabbis, we had yoga teachers, we had Miccosukee people playing flutes. It was wonderful. It was really wonderful. And so the next week, a church in Naples, I think it was a United Methodist church, said, well, we'd like to host a multi-faith prayer vigil. And so they did. And before you knew it, I don't know who's in charge of, making sure everybody knows whose turn it is. But every Sunday at 5 o'clock, there's another church out here hosting. And I'm seeing some of the same people and some different people. Like today, that blue bus, thank goodness, turned out to be holding people who were coming from, I assume, the same church to be here for this service. So yeah,
And these are church.
that's what we do.
So you can is it set up now? Is there something for us to see at the site
Yeah,
as they're
yeah.
setting it up?
They're I don't know if they've started or not, but you can see a lot of clergy. They're wearing stoles or whatever's appropriate for their faith tradition.
Yes, we do.
And do you guys mind if I put you on the podcast and walk in front of you? Okay, thanks. And we get
Oh, let
some
me see the signs.
wonderful signs.
Where are the, oh yeah, the missing people. So that's another thing that came out this week is, of course it's cruel and natural. It's, well, un-American. I mean, there's a long history of it happening. It's an America that we don't want to return to. We don't want to visit. It's America we've been fighting for a long time. And, people on the podcast know that I used to be an activist in Florida. We've been fighting, and immigrants certainly do have rights. And the thing is, um, there are, because this is a state facility and they're arguing that, we've talked about this, you can't find these detainees. And I've talked about it in my own experiences of having people around the country, is that if you can't, the ICE will list their detainees well, but they don't here. And that's one of the things, is people go missing because they come from another ICE
You
facility.
too.
And then these are some of the Miccosukee folks that are setting up, I can see.
Yes,
And
that's
this is
Betty.
going to be live streamed. And where can people watch this? I imagine they can watch it afterward.
Yeah.
We'll put the live stream in. I mean, it'll be live stream, but we'll put the stream in that people can. Um, w-
I
uh,
think I think most of the people up here are going to be clergy and associated who will be speaking for a
mhm.
little bit, and these are participants who don't plan to speak. Does
And you
that
can
make sense?
see, yes, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's
yeah.
wonderful. And people are coming out, and it's still getting publicity. I mean, for the reasons of, there's more people that are missing and they just can't find them because they're not listed, because uh it's run by a private corporation contracting with the state, who contracts through the federal government. And so it's hard to find people in there. And this is just sort of the back area.
They don't
Um,
put them
it's
on the database, the federal ones. I thought you guys should see a little bit of the Everglades. How's this?
Yes, there we go.
It's
This is
it's
the,
been raining a lot, so I'm walking through a couple inches of water, and here we get to the water's edge.
yeah, and this is where,
I
so,
love the Everglades. I love to.
I mean, it's an
It's
amazing place.
beautiful.
It's also been
It's not
historically,
swamp.
no, and it's suffered enough by, and there's
Yeah.
it's been narrowed, and it used to be the sky was filled with birds. People talk about what it was 100 years ago, and it's something that Floridians recently have been doing a lot to preserve, until uh, you know, and this is not only, I mean, this is like a triple whammy. It's the immigration atrocity, the cruelty of having people in a,
Yeah.
the cruelty of detaining people like that. Just the sick cruelty of that. And we talked about, you've got a governor there who was in charge of being sort of the ombudsman for people at Guantanamo during his period, and he did not um, respond to complaints
Whoops. I got
from people there.
out
So,
of.
have you walked us out of the zone? Um, this is the prayer service setting up. So, well, so Debbie, if you can, so you're walking through this mud over here, and all these folks are out
Yes,
there,
yes, I am. Yes.
and people are there
Everybody
with
else is
signs.
avoiding the mud, but I just walked right through it.
And you've had your
I'm getting
classic.
back to the car where I have a standard.
Sure,
Hmm?
you've had your
I
classic
got, yeah,
Florida rainstorm, and the humidity
yes,
and the
yes,
just and one of the things that people are really concerned about in there, and this is something I'm concerned about in all of these detention centers, is the healthcare, because
yes,
sickness spreads fast, and
yes.
sickness spreads fast in there, and people have died in different detention centers, and without much record of it. And the fact that this is happening 5 miles from where people can be is incredible. Thank you for turning this. Is We can
Yeah.
see you now, and we can see the sign a lot more clearly, and we can see that vehicle. But you're far away, and you guys are the witnesses to this. And this is happening outside of, um, this isn't even happening in the middle of rural
Yeah.
America. This is happening an hour and a half from one of the larger cities in the United States, one of the larger metro areas. Um,
Yep.
and so I mean, we all have talked about, what we can do, where we can go. And so, and we have witness at the border, how people can contact, donate, help you guys, to keep this up, because it is critical. Because without you there, it's worse.
It would,
And
yes,
uh,
yes. Can I make a pitch?
sure.
If you're thinking that this is something you would be interested in doing, you're welcome to come down and visit. The closest place with a motel is Everglades City, which is still about a 30-mile drive. You're at least 40 miles to there's a Miccosukee casino and hotel right on the edge of civilization that you could stay in. And then, Miami, we have a fair number of places to stay if you don't mind driving a bit further. And we would love to have you come out here. Now, I have to caution you that even though we're looking at October around the corner, it's still pretty hot. It's maybe not quite as bad as it was in July when it was air temperature, not feels like, when the air temperature was like 102 and in the shade under this canopy it was 96. Plus the humidity runs high. So I was really worried that somebody was going to have a heat stroke, which is dangerous. But we keep hydrated, and periodically we get in the car and turn the AC on to cool down. So if you're interested, look for me. The easiest way to get me is to look for me on Facebook, Debbie Clark Waking, Wehking,
Okay.
and I'll give you some tips about how to
And
do that. Or if
mhm.
you know anybody who lives down here.
And really, it's a day trip from Tampa. It's a day trip from Orlando. I mean, I always said
Yeah.
when I was in Central Florida in college, everything's 2 or 3 hours. Now, for there, you might have 4 hours, but absolutely, there's enough people down there. And also, the people that have gone from other places, that we've interviewed, it really is an experience you won't you won't forget. And it's really the front lines. And not only that, but it's very, very rare that somebody could make that much of a difference. And I'm serious about this. If you are sitting and you are a student, or you have a 3-day weekend, I know that, it would be beautiful to come down on what they call Columbus Day holiday. If you have that in your, or Indigenous Day holiday in some states, or I think the federal government forbade that, or what have you. But to come down for that would be really, really important. And you can get, cheaper flights down there, and you can get out, and to just be there. There really is nothing like that experience, as far as you will be literally a witness. I mean, you all are the primary witnesses to the lawsuits, of what's going in and out, and reporting it. And, you know, they're trying to sneak things by, and you guys have caught them many times. And that's a rarity. That's a rarity, because
Yeah.
most things don't happen in that rural a place, because nobody would think of putting a prison there except for really sick people. And this is what's going on. I mean, this is a really sick, I mean, the system is sick in itself, in that it needs healing. And that's
Yeah.
why it's wonderful that you're doing this service. It needs healing, and everybody can be a healer. Everybody can play that role. Anybody can. It's you can sit in a chair and watch and be in a community, and stay over on a Sunday and be there for these prayer services, and then you can go back home and you can tell your folks about it, and you can talk about it, and you can be there. So this is what's really, really important. I'm going to let you go pray, um, and
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. We'll be back. We'll be back, and next time we will have hopefully some folks from the tribe, and
Yeah.
talk about that. We haven't had that yet. We will. And so thank you so much.
Thank you for not forgetting about us. We really appreciate
Oh,
it.
absolutely. Now, what just pulled down there? I see a truck that had something on the back of it.
State Trooper, Commercial Vehicle Enforcement. So he's part of the same law enforcement as these cops.
Okay, so they're not telling
Yeah.
you guys to stay on the side of the road.
No,
They're not
no,
interfering with your protest, with your protest.
no. Occasionally they'll say, like if I were standing right there where where he's going down the road, they'll say, get out of the road. It's dangerous. But that's the worst I've experienced.
Okay,
And
good.
I didn't consider it bad. I mean, they're right. I don't belong in the middle of the road.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and again, they have a job to do. They're not ICE. They're not in the middle of it. It's not,
Yeah.
it's a very
Yeah.
complicated situation, and people are at,
Yeah.
it's tough, and it's hard. It's hard. Thank you
And
again.
I have a son
Mhm.
who's a police officer, and he says whenever I go to any protest, he says the cops are neutral. We know everybody has the right to be there.
And I'll tell you what, the cops don't. I mean, my cousin was a police officer in Pennsylvania, and he said, "No, we don't want to be ICE." So they don't want to cooperate. They
Yeah.
don't want to do that. And also, I know we're here. We have a lot of attention in DC. We have so the National Guards people. When we talk to them, they said we're not ICE. ICE is a pariah. um
Yeah.
they're a pariah right now to a lot of people, and they're getting their heads around it, and there are lots of ways to fight ICE. Here it's more intense and
Yeah.
everything. There you guys are far from it, but the witnessing is amazing. Anybody can do it. um
Yeah.
you can contact us. We'll put you in contact with Debbie and the others that witness at the border. There are plenty of places to stay, and it's hurricane season, so you'll get a good deal now. Until
Yeah.
through October, it's still hurricane season. That has two sides
Yes.
to it, but it's hurricane season. So, anyway, thank you so much, Debbie,
My pleasure. Thank you.
and we'll talk soon. All right, take care.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Um, So, once again, Living in the Promised Land is produced by Stephanie Buatois. The music is Insect Factory with Jeff Barsky. And until next time, thank you. And thank you again, Debbie.